Okay. So, it looks like I'm going to keep the door open. Because I tried to do this and it disconnected. So that's what's going to happen. So I have to keep the door open if I want to do this. And I want to preferably keep that over close to the door. Over there. So, yeah. So, that's just how it is. We have these kind of problems, and that's just what is going to have to happen. And it's taken a little bit of time for me to try to set this up, and just see what works and just see what will not work. And now I found something that will work. So that's really positive. Okay. So today, what is going to be happening today? Well, we are going to be bringing in someone. This is not going to be an Amenten guest. This is somebody whom is somebody who I am trying to, the word is express now, or go against, or try to prove that I may be bigger and better than this particular person. And so I've never really done an Amenten meeting like this live before, on the phone. So this should be a new experience. I have done a couple, but not with that particular version of live stream before. And this is the first live stream, Amenten meeting that I have tried to create. I've created many of these, but unfortunately a huge percentage of them have been deleted by me, because I compulsively went through them one after the other and deleted them, instead of saving them, instead of uploading them somewhere else, instead of downloading them and transferring them over, whatever. They were just deleted compulsively. And now, we live and we learn, and every single person has done that in their lives, where they have compulsively produced one thing and another thing, and then they've gotten rid of them because of that compulsive feeling, because of South and Scorpio. So, right now we're sort of dealing with getting rid of things in one full, swoop, I guess you could say, and how that is destructive and how that doesn't serve us. It's like if there is a cabinet that is broken, or if the table needs dusting, or if you need a new couch because it's teared up, or the TV's not working, you don't destroy the whole entire room, or, for that matter, the whole entire house. It's common sense and it's practical to just change and fix whatever is broken. Only what is broken. Leave the rest there. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't, go to the extremes. And if you can think about what you decide to do, and in the things that you're doing as household objects, and you're only trying to fix or change those specific things, and you're not changing the whole room, because the whole room, not all of it is bad or needs changing, or not every area of your house has a problem in it, So, that's what I'm learning, and I'm going to replenish these live streams and what I'm deciding to do. Um, hopefully this year. So this is a new year. I am not deleting anything valuable, including this. I've used this phone. I filmed videos on it, and those videos have just gotten removed. And I'm using my old phone because if I use my new phone, well, then that town of Wayward Pines can only hold up so much before those aberrations come in and before the wall cracks. Meaning, there's only so much I can do if I do something that goes against a promise that I've made. Well, it will result in guilt. So even though I want to, I know that if I do, I will be feeling the guilt later on. And suffering from those repercussions, and that may mean a 1-year quarantine from using the phone, which I do not want. So, that's sort of the rule that I have in place upon myself. And you may think something of it. You may think it's extreme or harsh or whatever. I've done things last year that I deeply, deeply regret. Very different than not finishing a couple books on your shelf, the finite amount of books. That pales in comparison to compulsively going through so much of the internet, one thing after another, binge watching, destroying, trying new things, curiosity, interest, and just, instead of having the opportunity to try new things and explore new things, you are compulsively going through one thing after the other. Boom, boom, boom. Exhausting yourself. And just ruining it for yourself. I haven't spoken about that in the past. I don't want to continue, but that is, something that is sort of an ingredient in the combination of things that has had me feeling really down and depressed last year. And I do not want to repeat those same patterns. Now, obviously, I can't go back and redo what I have done. And when I say to myself, I'm going to take 1 year off social media, I'm going to take a break from it, guess what? It never works and it never will. So, that's just how it is. And so, now I can only be as abundant as I can be, and now the ice of abundance is really thin, and, the channel doesn't matter. It's the videos that matter, and the posts and the content that matters. And that's what matters in the end. So, I've only seen so many videos. There's way more videos on there that I haven't seen. And the videos are the most important thing. The content's the most important thing. This is videos you have to post. But anyway, I could go on about that. And I did do a live stream on my main YouTube channel showing how to create posts and features of community posts on YouTube on the app. On the YouTube app. So you can check that out. On my YouTube channel, just type in Evercurdy, my first and last name. You obviously know how to spell it, or if you don't, then I have a link to it on my page, on my Amenten page, so you'll be able to find it regardless. But anyway. Now going back to, why you're here today and what is going to be going on today. Now, I'm going to try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, try to make the most of this time, not to entirely waste it. So, I'm going to pull out a big book of reading about writing that I'm sure that Adam Olympus would not find it as worth his time as other things to read through. But regardless. So, What is going on today astrologically? So today we have Uranus going direct, and what's interesting is that from today, culminating on a really intense straggler eclipse to the last degree, and I mean that literally, because it's at 29 degrees of a sign, and I say that with confidence, even though I don't believe it, it's still true. The next day, there's going to be a treasure chest, probably a treasure hunt event that, will go on with the event, because that's what comes to my mind with April 21st. On that day, Mercury will go retrograde in Taurus. So that'll begin the retrogrades. May 1st, Pluto will go retrograde in Aquarius because it is changing signs this year. It'll move on the Ides of March of this year, March 15th through June 19th. That's the whole period of Pluto in Aquarius. All right. Now, we have, so now, we can, I guess, rebel, get out of the box, whatever seems Uranus stations are, because I gotta know about that. And the interesting thing was, I was watching, let's say this, Nadia Shaw the other day, and I was disappointed because it sounded like she was reading off the script. That's one of my pet peeves when people read off scripts. This should, like, see what I'm doing? This should be what happens to scripts. See what I did? Yeah. So yeah, I have never read off a script for a video in my life, and I will never do that. I will never do that. It is like taking the easy way out. You're missing an opportunity, and I could tell that it's like, don't try to be perfect to the point of too perfect, so perfect that where is sort of a level of humanity, where is the feeling and authenticity in that, and that's just what I've noticed in that video. And I watched last week's horoscope. For last week, so January 15th to the 21st, Nadia really seemed rushed, trying to get through the information as quick as possible, buzz through it. It's all intellectual, all up here, no, dropping into the depths of, what's real in the soul, what you're talking about, the depth of what you're talking about, and all the bells and whistles flashing across the screen, plus mentioning at the end, Facebook, Instagram, and now it checks out. It wouldn't have checked out before, October last year, but, the community tab. I've mentioned a couple times, checked out, but regardless, I've also done something that's against my voice. I could go on a whole rant about that. I'm not going to. But anyway, and something else that I want to say before I introduce who this person is there is a missing persons case available online on YouTube. And it deals with the disappearance of the spiritual and astrological YouTuber, or as I like to say, content creator, Kelly Rosado, who makes astrological new moon, full moon reports, used to do monthly sun sign, rising sign horoscopes, and also does spirituality videos, such as what's in store for the new era. Recall that on December 21st, we had Jupiter, Saturn conjunct in Aquarius, which initiated a brand new 200-year cycle of Jupiter and Saturn conjuncting in air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Jupiter and Saturn conjuncted in Aquarius on that winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, of course. So yeah, she has been missing. She came back December of 2021, stayed up until March 9th of 2022, and then by the beginning of the next astrological new year, so, March 20th was the final day, which culminated the end of one astrological year, because on that day the sun moves into Aries and we start the new astrological year, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's put on fire, get initiated, go after what you want and need, what you desire, that kind of thing. So that was the final day that she was really on any social media. Now, I don't like to talk about this because this is gossip, and there are perils to gossip. But as far as I'm concerned, I think I know where she may be. And you're not going to believe this, but this is the truth. She is, off the face of the earth. Located on an island, on sort of a cluster of islands with like sand and, trees and grass and zebras and giraffes sort of walking, So, and it's a cluster of islands, not just one. It's a cluster, but you have to get there through a portal. I'm guessing that she needs to sort of cut off from the mold, have a retreat, have a rebirth, and escape, because that's what her soul is calling her to do. And I hope that this summer, because Venus will go retrograde, hopefully she will be coming back to social media. If not, coming back to YouTube, through posts, especially through videos. I hope that she'll be coming back this year, especially as Venus will go retrograde this summer in Leo. She has Venus in Leo. Venus will go retrograde in Leo, so hopefully that will bring her back. So that, okay, I'm not going to be here any other time, but when Venus goes retrograde, during Venus retrograde season, I'm going to come back during that time. So, maybe she kind of made it out that she would do that. I don't know. That I'm making up. But anyway, today I do want to cut to the chase. So I've sort of spoken and beat around the bush. I want to come back. Now, today we are going to be welcoming in somebody with the same initials as somebody else who went to Blake Castle. And he went to Blake Castle because one way of explaining is that he did not read The Missing Element, Inspiring Compassion for the Human Condition. He did not have a well-balanced chart. And I mean, he was as dry as the desert. He lacked water and, dropping into the depths of feeling and being, authentic with, what he was saying, and it was surfacey. There was a lack of substance, to what he was saying and how he was presenting himself, and that sort of conflict that was very ungraceful and very unadmirable. He presented that in the Zoom meetings that I attended because I was remote learning for that school year, 2020 through 2021 because of COVID. And when I was on there, I could tell that one part of him wanted to get things absolutely perfect, nail it down. It's all about the details, get it right, make sure that you're saying this right, make sure you're putting your, including the right details, etc. And the other part was really excited and jovial and wanted to just be carefree and express and embellish and expand and learn and grow and experience joy and etc. And Virgo, um, is not about that. It's just small things, and it's not sort of the luckiest sign. And I can say that because I have Jupiter in Virgo. Also, it's retrograde. He also has Jupiter in Virgo, and so luck and expansion are sort of not as easy to come by or afford or to feel and to experience with that placement. Um, it will be different for Jupiter in Pisces or Jupiter in Sagittarius. But anyway, so he taught a sort of language class, American Lit type class that I took. And I mean, all I can say is at the end of the day, there was bread on the table. The sandcastles did stand up in the air. And, the two, husband and wife, did sort of get along and have that wonderful experience together. And I just said something really random, but I'm sort of, now the bread on the table, the bread on the table, uh, the bread on the table, I'm kind of making up a little bit. But the sand idea and the husband and wife together, I'm not making up. Because the person, his name was, was Jonathan Beslis. And this person also teaches English. It was the same initials, J and B. And who looks like him. Both of them resemble Mr. Percival, who was the then controller of the narrow gauge railway on the island of Sodor. Both of them appear that way. Both of them have that shared resemblance. So sort of two together, and then you draw a line to somebody else. And both of these two people are in resemblance to this person. So it's sort of a resemblance triangle, if you will. But anyway, this person, not the person that'll be coming, but this person, Jonathan, he taught a variety of English classes, English 9, English 10, English 11, 12, and American Lit, which I took. And I have, I could give you an earful on reading The Long Walk by Stephen King. It is a piece of trash. I mean, I'm sorry, but I read it and it just did not make sense in my mind. And I don't know, I just did not like it. And I don't really have things to say about that, but that's a whole entirely different issue. I mean, what kind of person would you be if you put yourself through the task of walking and having to keep up the pace, otherwise you get warnings, and then, I mean, you are gone. Like, you pass away, gone. What kind of person would do that and make themselves do that? Just these teenagers in the book were really reckless, and they certainly did not have their right values put in place. And I mean, good grief. I mean, no. So, no. But anyway, so this person has a really interesting name that sort of would go together in a type of song, but does not have the most poetic license kind of name, which would be. And his name, very difficult to say here, but his name would be the last name sounds German. I will tell you that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm being kind of timid here. So his name is Joseph Longstetter. That's his name. And it's hard to bring in people who I know in my personal life. It's really difficult to do that. And I'm working on that. I'm plucking up the courage more as I go. It's becoming easier and more natural to do. But, I really don't have any plans for this particular person. It's whatever he wants to do and whatever he wants this experience to be, because I honestly don't have any plans. The only plan that I have is sort of a far off plan. An album with certain songs I'm kind of working on, coming up with, creating right now, dealing with him. And then a music video which will be filmed with some women walking on the sand, and it'll be kind of neat melody involving several different references and things going on. And there'll be more information about that, sometime. But the melody kind of like that. But anyway, this music video will be filmed, and it will be premiering. Get this. I've chosen this day intentionally and purposefully. It will be premiering on September 15th, 2023. Why is that day significant? It's not the year. Let's just, forget the year. It's September the 15th. That was the birthday of Jonathan Beffords. And because he does bear resemblance to Jonathan, I am planning to show that music video on that day and have that premiere on that particular day sometime, there. But anyway, so this person, well, I can't tell you too much right now. Of course, I'll introduce himself and talk about himself, but he does I'm getting a sort of Saturn pull right now. And what a Saturn pull is sort of a, hey, you need to get to work and stop standing here and doing this. Well, I'm going to try to do both things at the same time if I can. So I'm getting the Saturn pull now, which is the pull to, get serious and get to work. So I'm getting that. But I will tell you that he does teach composition at DMAC in Des Moines, writing classes. I am in composition, one I think it is, one of his composition classes. I go there on Tuesday, Thursdays to attend class, as well as a couple other classes. And I also know that he which is a really important little aspect and element to the song, is that he did teach and live in, interestingly enough, Santiago, Chile, which is interesting. So that will be something that I'll try to put some meaning to, depending upon his sort of life story, and what he is saying about him, and sort of uh, those details, and talking about himself and sharing his life with all this. Now to get into sort of the Amenten elements of this person. Before I bring him in, I just want to say a couple more things here. He does look a little bit, and I hate to say this, I really do, but if you have seen a series of unfortunate events, and you've seen Count Olaf, if you've seen the Austere Academy episode, where Violet, Klaus, and Sunny are in a boarding school, and the lighting is really dark and austere and gray, and they have to live in a shack, and they have to attend classes, and they need it up with librarian, and kind of left. Basically, the whole story is trying to go after the Baudelaires, go after their the Baudelaires' fortune, huge fortune that Baudelaire's parents have left behind because they have perished. And so throughout all the episodes, they end up with new settings and new difficulties, and kind of always comes and finds them disguised as different characters, and that whole story, and there's sort of a mystery that unfolds, and there's a secret organization that becomes really important, and so many details. I don't want to give it away for anyone who has not seen that, but I do want to just sort of say that. But point is, he does look a little bit like one of the characters that Count Olaf sort of played, which is Coach Genghis, who played as a gym teacher in the Austere Academy, just by the arms, just by sort of facial features. Now, before you tell me what you really think of what I just said, I'm pretty sure I know what it is, so I don't want to hear it. Because I think what I would say to this person in regards to that, that's the Captain Obvious. And, that that should be just an immediate cross off the list. So, I have Mercury in Taurus. I know right from, wrong. I know what I'm saying. Anyway. So,
Going to the store.
okay, bye.
I'll be back soon.
Okay. Okay, so, now, the other little, thing, kind of, detail here. We're about 58 right now, good grief. The other little detail that I want to say is, that he, I don't want to send him to Black Castle yet, because I've only known him for, only like 3 class periods. 3 class periods. 3 an hour and a half, I would say, class period. 3. That's it. So, I do not want to jump to conclusions because there's more to sort of uncover and discover about this person, about the onion which has layers, which is this person. So throughout the months and weeks, I will get to know this person better. And I will probably be coming back with videos, live streams, welcome back, information, updates about my feelings, beliefs, perceptions, experiences with this person, and just my thoughts, what I have to say, and what I feel like saying. So, yeah. But basically, what I can find at the moment is just sort of, no flaws, really. I mean, no flaws. Nothing wrong with the person. Not, this person isn't mean or inconsiderate or judgmental or whatever. Well, it's not so much what he is putting out. It's more just the delivery of that. It's more just the frequency and the vibration of what he is putting out that I'm not as a fan of. That I don't care for. Sort of a kind of a rude kind of zaniness that I reject. And there's sort of layers of that. So first of all, when I say zaniness, I don't mean like the kind of zaniness that you would associate with the word zany. I mean personality traits that are in resemblance to a friend that I had, whose name was Zane, that I knew. And some people, a lot of people, display zany traits in a really positive way. And I'm talking about Aaron Dowdy right now. There are others who I am around them and engaging with them, and I just, no, that's not my type. That's not my type. That's not my, personality. That's not what I'm a fan of. I'm not drawn to that. I'm not attracted to that. And what people reject from you is something known as the Lilith. And there's a whole mythological story about the Lilith. There's a backstory. Basically, in a nutshell, the Lilith was in relationship to Adam. So, before Eve came about in the Garden of Adam. So, they were together. However, Lilith, when asked by Adam if she would want to marry him and be in relationship with him, she said no, and she rejected what he wanted. She can go along with what he wanted. So just like that, just saying no, she didn't submit. She was cast out of society, and she vented on the beach. Today, how in the past they used to have very difficulty. It was very difficult for them to express themselves and just sort of live a life true to themselves and what they value, and sort of stand up for what they believe in, because it's sort of a patriarchal the men kind of ruled the roost, and they were husband, they were in charge, the breadwinner of the family, went out the money, got the job. And I read a whole play on that about him who treated his wife like a doll and like a child. And what happened in this play was their relationship was not a true marriage. And I'm referring to um, A Doll's House or A Doll House if you've read that play. So yeah, and I was reading and I was thinking, well, you know, the actors in this play need to just be authentic and express themselves, but you sort of have to be discreet and sort of turn down the fire inside of you and be a certain way, present yourself in a certain way because certain things at the time were not acceptable like they were now. Don't even get me started about children and only allowed to speak if they were asked a question or that kind of thing. So if the conversation was initiated in the direction, then they could speak. I mean, I have a whole range of opinions about that. Um, I don't want to get into that. That's not that way now, and that's a fabulous, wonderful thing. And there's so much more that I could say about that. But anyway, so uh, you know, zaniness, a kind of personality, and the Lilith in your own chart shows what people reject, sort of fears, unconscious material, shadow work, and even if the energy is well balanced, even if regardless, then the Lilith is a wild and dark energy that is an untamed energy. So, for instance, you might kind of reject me and some of the things that I have to say and the way that I may say those particular things or what kind of communication that I am engaging in or if I gossip or speak truth or I'm really chatty and talkative because I have my Lilith in the sign of Gemini. So anyway, um, that's what I was born with. And I do not know the Lilith of this person, but I also knew somebody with a Lilith in Scorpio, which made so much sense because his life's mission was to get to the bottom of people's problems and dig deep and judge and do all that stuff. And I'm referring to somebody who was here at my Amenten earlier this year who shall not be named. So anyway, because that's in the past, and the short answer is the weeds have been removed from the trailer. They've, or excuse me, I've abandoned that trailer. It's just sitting there with weeds in it. It's no good. I'm not going back to those woods again. Um, all right. Now, sort of leaving that hanging in the air without sort of clarifying that. And so, what I was saying is there's a kind of quality of a kind of zaniness, certain personality traits that I don't like, sort of tricky personality traits, where the relationship doesn't flow, where I feel uncomfortable. I don't like how I see myself, how I, perceive myself in that situation. And both the humor and the attention that the person is putting onto somebody else, I am not a fan of when it comes to that person being what I call zany. In, negative terms, in negative expressions. And sometimes you're with somebody and they mean well, they're really nice, but you just feel both energetically pulled down and maybe intellectually, emotionally, psychologically, mentally drained. You just feel drained. And it could be by maybe how they look at you, or maybe get the impression that they're looking at you, or how they ask you questions or engage with you, how they speak. That's a huge one. That is such a huge one. In fact, you're going to hear sort of a mixed flavor of how this person speaks when he comes in. Going up and sort of being like Dreyer Jacobson, sort of, meadow, and saying your O is like an ah sound. Like if I were to say the compound bond kind of thing. And certain people say their O is like an ah sound, and, anyway. And then, there's another, side to how he speaks, where he speaks like a sort of someone who is into selling tech products or outdoor recreational entertainment products like bicycles, mopeds, and ATVs and UTVs, or a surfer, kind of that kind of mannerism, or someone really, manly, or like somebody whose name I can't remember right now, but who was in a composition class that I took last year. But anyway, so that's kind of the gist of just all the different kind of sides. Certainly not a yelly or reactive kind of personality type, like a fifth grade teacher. That was not my fifth grade teacher, but another fifth grade teacher I had. Who taught science and social studies when I was in fifth grade. Her name was Melissa Jacobson. And in a way, I can see sort of a small resemblance, but not really too much of a resemblance. All right. So that's it for all the introductions. Okay? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the person in. Daniel, you can go and you can grab this person and welcome him in to the Amenten. And while Daniel is doing that, I am going to play this music like I said that I would do. So, let me just sort of, okay, so, let me, okay, there we go, okay, push it in. Now I'm going to play this music, and now I'm going to welcome the person in, and he should be coming in any moment. While one of this song is playing. Feeling that sensation again when I'm doing that, but anyway, I'll go sit down sometime later. My goodness, this is really okay. There we go. Okay, now please load so that I can get this song in quickly. Ugh. Okay, I have to look at the album. Where on earth is the album for that kind of thing? Oh, Brother Ortho, that's nice. Where is that album? Oh, well, guess what? I can't find the album, so I'm just gonna have to listen for whatever song is 3 the magic number or something. Is it number 3? No, that's not number 3. Good grief. What about number 5? No, it's not number 5 either. Here we go. So you should be coming in.
You're not the only one. You got a second chance. So when you gonna play, I gotta make it plan. So what's it gonna be? You gotta write it and believe in your life. Find yourself in possibilities.
All right, now that should be the end of the song there. Okay, so that's sort of the introduction there. All right, now, welcome, welcome to my Amenten lesson. Mr. Lunch. So now what will go on is I am going to have you now, my name would be Lopez Noble, although you can call me by my regular name, it's fine. Yeah, that's correct. So, this is really different, and it should be exciting, and I'm sure that we'll all enjoy getting to know this person, and it should be a really fun and new kind of experience. So now, certain details will be revealed later. I don't want to get those out of the way. But what's going to be going on now is I've already sort of given all of you just what is going to be happening this week in terms of the announcements for the week. I know that Susan will present you those announcements just in a video in more detail. But what will also happen is, there will be, some plans and some things that will occur that you'll find out about, and I know I'll talk about and I'll talk with you. I want to know this in front of people, and so I'll have I think Susan and Daniel, and then you'll come to my office, and then we'll talk about some plans while you're here, negotiate, talk about certain things, discuss certain things. So anyway, I know that you have things prepared for coming here and talking to everybody. So now you can come and do that. And while you're doing that,